Today I will be reviewing the new Black Box TV episode, Destructible. Now I want to state first off that I am not really a big fan of comic type stuff, so overall I wasn't completely into this episode, mainly because it was comic related style, and that's just, I'm not into that stuff. But nonetheless, I found the episode a little cheesy, but when it comes to comic episode movies or episodes made from comics, I think that's kind of the direction that it is kind of supposed to go in. Whenever I think of comic movies based off comics, such as Spider-Man or Batman or something like that, to me it's supposed to be a little cheesy. The effects are supposed to be a little cheesy. So I thought the effects throughout the video or the episode worked perfectly with the fact that this is the Comic-Con edition. I found that the fight scenes came off as really staged. Now I know they were obviously staged, that's a given, but I think that the actors could have worked on the fight scene a little better to make them a little more realistic. Now again, I know they're supposed to be a little cheesy, but it seemed a little too slow or just not natural while they were going through the fight scene. I found it really interesting that I loved how in the when the main good chick was in the hospital, and then the villains were playing the role of the nurse and the doctor. And how they tied in the newspaper in with the fact that Max Vex, I guess the main chick is called. I like how they tied that into... I like how they tied the news story in the paper that Max Vex was still missing. Although I found the episode really confusing, mainly because there really wasn't enough of a backstory. I thought the episode could have been 100 times better if there was a little more of a backstory. To me, it just didn't make any sense, because they just jumped right into the church scene, or whatever it was, the church scene, and it just didn't really make any sense, because it's like, okay, they're in this church, why? Why were these villains and this villain and this hero having a fight, you know? Like, what was their falling out? What was the backstory is like what I wanted to know. I absolutely loved the wardrobe. I thought the set was awesome. I always love the sets in the Black Box TV episodes. They always work perfectly for whatever they're trying to get across. I just thought that the church and the hospital worked perfectly. Although I think the colors, the contrast could have been a little darker in the church and in the hospital to look a little more clean, so to speak, more white-ish, Like, some sort of, like, mental institution is kind of what I think it should have been more like. You know, like how they have the white padded cell kind of thing in some movies. I think it should have been a little more something like that in the hospital. But I thought the acting was okay. I think it could have been better. You know, I mean, it was a little cheesy, which I've said before works perfect for this kind of thing. But overall, I think the episode was just okay. It's not the best that Tony's put out there, that Black Box... I don't think it's the best that Black Box TV has put out. I think that there could have been a little more of a backstory, which would have made it 100 times better. But overall, I think the episode was okay. And yeah, don't forget to click subscribe to the Teamregulars, and don't forget to subscribe to Black Box TV as well.